of the unity, purpose of man, his orientation for success on this earth, all locked up in that wonderful symbol there in that simple house. So if man will accept that and live by that discipline in his life, God promises you'll see me. That's my face. That's what I'm pleased with. That's what God is saying. That's what I'm pleased with. That's what I've established for you. That's the destiny I want to see you seeking. That's the overriding discipline I want you to have in your life. That will never be sacrificed, no matter what you turn to outside of that. Let that rule in your life. That you all are created of one essence, one origin, and that God has evolved your social life. He's the best to evolve your social life. That he has ignited your intellect. He's the best to ignite your intellect. That he has provided a community, and a safe community, in a situation that's almost impossible for life. You think you have to go to an oasis where there's plenty of vegetation, or to a place where there's great life, great abundance of life? You think you have to go to a paradise where there's just an abundance of life and perfect comfort and everything? No, look what I have done. I have provided a place of safety to preserve the social order, to keep the intellect. Out of this came a man with the wisdom to lead all men. He's called the father of nations, Abraham. Then he made him a leader for all the nations. Say, look what he did. He came to a place that was not appealing at all and built a house in a barren land, in a desert, among wanderers, in the midst of wanderers, pirates of the sand. But the house still stands. The wisdom is preserved. The light is protected. It still invites to civilization, and it sends men off to return to their distant lands with a better footing, with more wisdom to use to advance their life, no matter what quarter of the earth they live in. Still there, in the sand. Then God says in his holy book, Ya ayyuhan nafsul mutma'inna, O soul that has found rest, irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyya, return now to your Lord, pleasing and pleased. See, some of us want to be pleased, but we don't want to please. Huh? What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for me? Well, hell, what are you going to do for me? We want happiness, but we don't want to contribute to nobody else's happiness. Huh? Then look what God says. فَادْخُلِي فِي عِبَادِي وَادْخُلِي جَنَّتِي. God says, now therefore enter you among my workers. Hey, I thought when you get to heaven you're going to play on a harp and wear silk and drink milk and honey. I didn't know there was any work. God says, come into my paradise, but first accept to enter among my workers. He says, فَادْخُلِي فِي عِبَادِي, enter you among my workers. وَادْخُلِي جَنَّتِي, and enter you my paradise. So the condition for getting into his paradise is to be one of his workers. Woo-hoo! Buddy, buddy, buddy. Now you know how come I know that's right? My nature bears witness. Well, hell, I can shut my mouth And man, there's so much amen going on all through my genes. My nature knows that's right. When I have a task to take up, when I have a challenge to take up, when I have a job to do, when I have something that will make me feel that I made a little progress today because I at least planted 2 trees, or dug up 2 roots that was troubling the house, that was about to damage the piping. I can go to sleep and I rest good. My sleep is heavenly because I know in my soul I have been a credit to somebody, to something today. Because I have done something to improve the situation of life. Huh? Yes. So here's somebody selling the ignorant masses in these cities on the south side of Chicago and the west side of Chicago, all in these backward corners of the city, selling the ignorant masses, whether they be black or Puerto Rican or whatever, selling them on the idea that God invites you to a heaven where you don't have to do nothing else. You just lay up and just float and drink honey and milk and somebody fanning you. Well, that ain't fair that the fanner is in heaven. Well, hell, he ought to be in hell if he doesn't deserve the same thing I got. And they got somebody up there fanning others. So seeking the face of God clearly means seeking what your Lord Allah established for you, for us, as an assignment in this real world, as work, as a preferred way of life. And believe me, when we involve ourselves in such and strive, we find happiness, especially, as God says, when we do it seeking His okay, seeking His face, seeking His approval. Now we are going way over time, but we ain't renting. Yeah, we big shots in this place. Because of the efforts of the little shots. A lot of effort on the part of many little shots have made us a big shot in this place. Dear Muslims, we investigated the call to Islam, or al-Islam, because we yearn to find ourselves. We yearn to find God's way. We yearn to find what God approved. And we weren't really satisfied with what the white man had established for us as religion. So we answered the invitation to come into Islam, or al-Islam as it is called in the Quran. Don't you know we were among the people who were trying to find religious freedom? The African American people, they don't understand, most of them, the nature of their own freedom struggle. Their freedom struggle got corrupted. It was corrupted by new spirit. Foreign spirit came into the black man in these United States. A spirit foreign to that freedom urge that he had naturally during his experience as a slave. When the Hebrew children were in bondage and they had no power, no nation to turn to that was Hebrew. They had no one to answer them, no one to defend them, no one to take up their cause. And they were oppressed by a mighty ruler and a mighty nation. What was the natural course for their freedom urge? To call on the mysterious God. Mysterious because they didn't know him. Mysterious because they didn't have the knowledge in their hands. If they did, they wouldn't have been in those circumstances. So their only recourse was to cry out to the mysterious God. And they cried out to the mysterious God, and the mysterious God took a man that he had planted in Egypt. Huh? God planted one of the Hebrews, one of the oppressed Hebrews. He planted him in Egypt, put him right under the power structure of the imperialists, the colonizers who had colonized the land of the Hebrews. Huh? And had them living so bad in their own little territory that was theirs that they saw no opportunity for improving their situation but to ask God to bless one of their children to get in the favorable situation under the Pharaoh in the power structure. But what happened when God blessed one of our men to be favored? He makes a fancy speech, bathed in his own glory, and look for a bigger payday. Go seeking a bigger check. Not a change of life. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the Reverend Jesse Jackson. God blessed him to win popularity and acceptance, to address the nations from the same dignified position that the bosses have. Huh? But instead of getting the revelation and coming down off the high tower of his bosses and say, I'm going to embrace my brother in the street and I'm going to show my brother how to rise up to your height, instead of doing that, he starts seeking an opportunity to get a bigger payday. I mean currency. Isn't that what he did? Started looking in Chicago, couldn't find any. He looked down south. I think he's still looking for a position to give him more money by the week or the month, or however he would be paid. That's how come we're still down. Now, I just mentioned the Reverend Jesse Jackson. He's one in a long history of Dathans who get a good situation in the land that oppresses, and when he's comfortable, he forgets that he is from among the suffering. He's just a long line. He just comes from a long line of similar type people, opportunists. But that was God's way. God planted him there. And he served Pharaoh until he couldn't stomach it anymore. It wasn't intended that he serve Pharaoh. It was intended that he be put in a situation to help his own people. So he served Pharaoh until he couldn't stomach it anymore. Then he started rebelling. He said, hey, what is this? Hey, what are you doing there? What are you doing hitting that Hebrew? You know, he's a Hebrew too. He's speaking to an Egyptian. He's telling one of the white supremacists, hey, what are you doing hitting that Negro? And he couldn't check him by bringing his attention to his wrong, so he hauled off and smacked him upside his head. Pow! And that kind of liberty that Moses took got him put out of Egypt. Say, hey, you got to get out of here with this stuff you got here, boy. You don't belong with us. Get out of here. They exiled him. They put him out in the desert, right? He got out there in the desert and met a wise man. The wise man turned him on to the way of God. Then he got inspired. He said, hey, I think I see fire. So I think I'll go there to the fire. Maybe I'll bring back something that will serve as a light or something as heat for you. And after he had that experience, he went back to Pharaoh. Hey, I thought we put you out of here. Didn't we exile you some time ago? What are you doing here? Said, God says, let my people go. Say, hey, what you joking or something, Moses? We know you. Don't you know you our boy? Say, who is this God you talking about? Say, the only God I know is myself. That's what Pharaoh told him. Say, who is this God you talking about, Moses? The only God I know is myself. Said, but do you give life and give death? Pharaoh said, yeah, I give life and give death. If you don't straighten up, I'm getting ready to kill you right now. Now, who this God you talking about? Say, the one who created everything and thereafter gave it its guidance. And Pharaoh, that shook him, you know. Say, hey, what's this? This boy looked like he done met something else. He ain't the same fella that left here. Say, hey, I'm going to tell you again. God said, let my people go. Say, are you threatening me, Moses? Yeah. Say, God said he's going to take your firstborn if you don't let my people go. Then he presented him with one threat after another, right? And the God he served backed Moses up. He sent him and he backed him up. Pretty soon, Pharaoh, he lost his cool. And he organized his men to battle with Moses and his followers. And as a consequence, he was drowned in the sea. Right? That's that great history that we just mentioned in brief here. Great history. Great history. Now, dear beloved people, we in these United States, the true yearning for freedom in us is a yearning for religious freedom. And instead of getting that religious freedom, we were fascinated so much, enchanted so much, enamored so much with the hope of being accepted by our rejectors. You know, pimps and other playboys and pretty boys that make a business out of romancing women, they know that the way to get a woman hooked is to reject her for no reason that she can find. And she will be tied up forever trying to find out how come I'm not wanted. He'll have her forever. She ain't gonna rest until she win him. Because she's rejected but don't know why. See, I'm fine, I know I'm fine. I know I whipped it on him right. How come he won't come around? And he's pushing her off. Hey, no, God, leave me alone. So the experience we had with the white man had the power to produce the same kind of thing in us. White man rejected us, and we don't know why he treat us like this. Why are we so offensive to him? Why is our flesh so offensive to him? We're human like he is. How come he becomes so upset just by our presence? Why he doesn't even want us drinking out of the same water fountain with him? Bird come up there and drink out of the fountain. He go there and drink behind the bird. I drink out of the fountain, they lynch one of us and take the fountain up and throw it away. So he put a big question in your mind. Why in the hell do I provoke you to go to these extremes? You got false notions about me, man. Let me hug you. Feel me. I'm just like somebody else. I'm just like anybody else. Come on, kiss me. Come on, please, kiss me. I'm just like anybody else. Tongue me. I'm just like anybody else. Let's have sex. You'll see, I'm just like anybody else. Hey, let's have a baby. You'll see, we can have a baby. I'm just like anybody else. Don't run. Let me sit by you in the park. I'm just like anybody else. Hey, where you going? Don't leave. I'm just like anybody else. Hey, you don't know what these things can do to your soul and to your nature and your spirit. So we want to prove ourselves to him, huh? We want to prove ourselves. And then what happens now? We have a yearning to be religiously free. We want to find religious freedom. Then he opened the church to us, and we walked into the doors, and there is the image of him saying, "Come unto me." There's some powerful psychology that this civilization used on non-whites. Push them away, say they black, they colored, they're inferior. But now come into my church, I have an image of me there that wants you. Come unto me. So all you wanted to do to white women and white men, you go in there and do it to Jesus. Woo, Jesus! Woo! That's Jesus! Woo! Woo! Oh, Jesus! Jesus! You see the psychology? You see the psychology? See, you can take an animal, and make an image, an effigy of a person. And you can take that image and torture and tantalize, etc., that animal with that image. And then take that animal to the person they never saw, never smelled anything. And that animal will go right at that person. So the person you want to accept you is the white man. The image of him is the so-called God, Jesus. God forbid. So your yearning, your desperate need to be accepted by the white man is kind of vicariously satisfied through your experience with the Jesus on the cross. Nothing but an emblem, a symbol of the white man's race. So how come you can't find your freedom? How come you can't be free? How come you ain't comfortable with what you are, with who you are? How come you haven't found yourself? It is because you haven't carried your freedom urge to its proper conclusion. You need to go back and pick up your freedom struggle. Your freedom struggle was not to have money and cat-like cars and Mercedes-Benz and fine clothes and show off with the white man in the business suit, or to have power in the army, etc., etc. That wasn't your yearning. Your yearning was to find a comfortable place for your soul. Your yearning was to free your soul. Your yearning was for religious freedom. You wanted to know your God, what he approves, what he disapproves. You wanted to hear from your God if what the white man was doing was right or wrong. You wanted to hear from God. You wanted to find God so you can judge what the white man has established. But instead of finding God, you found nothing but a comfortable place with a cold image, nothing but a marble image of the white man. Or plastic or wooden, I don't know what they're making the images in now. And there you rested your religious struggle. Ended with Jesus. Oh, I got Jesus now. I don't need anything else. I understand why. But you still need something. You just can't see the depths of your life. You're in the shallow. In the shallow, you think you don't need anything. But the depths are still troubled, not rested, and won't be rested until you find religious freedom. And the only religious freedom for non-white people in this particular society is to come into a religion that is not imaged in the white man. That's the only way. We ain't gonna never be free. Church used to be so sincere. You'll always have sincere people in religion. But the leadership of the black church or the African American church or the black church now is corrupt. It's corrupt. It's like it's nothing but a mockery. So we have been yearning for religious freedom. This is the course God intended for us, to bring us back to establishment, community life and community establishment, after being taken from establishment when we were brought here as slaves, or taken from the opportunity to establish ourselves when we were brought here as slaves. Many of us were brought from dignified life. We know of certain slaves that were brought and sold on slave blocks, auction blocks. It's documented by history that certain ones of them came from educated backgrounds and good situations, good, fortunate situations. And they were sold just like all the other slaves on the auction block. Religious freedom is our yearning. You who are still with us here, you are here because you believe that this place is the best opportunity for that religious freedom. But that religious freedom for you will not be a reality if you leave responsibility for your religious community life to people that you don't even know. Most of you still trust me, and you depend solely upon me to keep the order of your community or your religious life. I can't do that. That's too much for any human being. The prophet himself, peace be upon him, he was told by God to tell the people, I am not to be a protector of your life, a regulator of your affairs, a guardian for your interests. No, the prophet was not sent to do that. He's told by God in the Quran to tell them that I have no responsibility but to make the message clear. That's what the prophet was told. If he would have accepted that responsibility, he would have deviated from the course of his own prophethood. Because he came to lead the people into shared community life, shared responsibility, shared authority, shared power. He came to lead the people into the ideal democracy. Yes. So God gave him the words to tell them, no, I won't accept that you burden me with all this responsibility. You have to accept responsibility. You have to accept responsibility for your own life. Don't worry. I don't do this often. This is very important. We don't have in the history of Prophet Muhammad where Prophet Muhammad was going about checking on people. We don't have in the history of Prophet Muhammad where Prophet Muhammad was trying to get all of the business in his control. We don't have in the history of Prophet Muhammad where Prophet Muhammad was trying to ascertain what was going on in all the locales, in all the towns, so he could have control over the life of the people. We only have in the history of Prophet Muhammad where he gave advice when it was asked outside of the regular job of his prophethood, when he was inspired to speak to the people. When he wasn't inspired to speak to the people, he was just like a common neighbor. He worked with his wife in the house. He swept the house. He swept in front of the house. He did chores. He went to the market to get groceries for the household. He was seen carrying on the common life of everybody else. How could he do that and be the man that he was, the leader that he was? Because he was sent to bring about a truly participatory democracy where people accept responsibility for their own circumstances, apply the light of God, apply the wisdom of God, and don't expect the man who gave it to you from the mouth of God to be right there with you by your side, watching you and treating you like you're a damn baby, don't know how to take care of your own circumstance. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a prophet. I don't even claim to be a mujaddid. I dropped the issue a long time ago. I'm a leader because you chose me. I'm a leader because you want me. I'll stay a leader because you want me. Yes. You can retire me by not wanting me. You can retire me. I have no guarantee from heaven. Yes. But I speak with the wisdom that was revealed to the prophet, and I speak in the defense of the order of life and society intended for Muslims with the wisdom revealed to the prophet, and I say to you just as the prophet would say to you, I'm not here to watch all of your interests, to protect all of your investments, to preside over all of your disputes. I'm not God, I'm a human being. And God presented this kind of democratic participatory democracy to the Muslims so that the Muslims will be a competing force, not only that, but a leading force for excellence on this earth, a model community for all other communities. But they failed, and God warned the Arabs, didn't he? Allah says in the Quran, if you fail, he will raise up behind you another people who will accept this responsibility, saying they will be a strong people, they will be a faithful people to God, and they won't fear the criticism of the public criticizers. There are men and nations who have taken up that invitation. I believe in the heart of Khomeini, he feels he really has accepted that invitation. And perhaps in the hearts of certain other leaders, they feel they have accepted that invitation. But for the most part, the majority of the Muslim societies or nations of this earth have disregarded that invitation. Say, well, how come you favor Khomeini and he's a fanatic, a radical? God cares more about a fanatic, a radical who will try to take up the challenge, pick up the cause, than he cares about hypocrites who are pleasing everybody just so they don't disturb the waters. I'm not favoring his image over any other person's image, but I'm telling you that because that man at least has the courage to say, this is not your territory, you will not bring in your Western influences, you will not dictate to us, we have our own religion, God gave it to us. If we want to be under Islamic rule, we're going to be under it. Now leave us alone or suffer the consequences. I'm saying that a man that had that courage, though he be a little too full of wine. What I mean by that, the wine of religious devotion. Though he be a little too filled or too full with the wine of religious devotion, God will come to his aid quicker and with more power and support than he will to the aid of a hypocrite that's scared to stir the waters, afraid to risk criticism from those who will criticize. So that old man is about 150 years old. They thought he should have been dead about 80 years ago. He's still over there living, still ruling. And they done tried everything, a bay of pigs and everything else. And the man's still over there because God says, though he's a little tipsy, he got the courage to stand up for truth in my way. He has God's protection. And you people, and most of you all are wine heads, but if you accept, you'll see, you'll have God's protection. I'm talking about religious freedom. I hope tomorrow to carry this talk and complete this talk tomorrow. I'm talking about the yearning, the natural yearning in us, coming from the circumstances in Africa to the horrible circumstances of slavery in these United States. The yearning in us for religious freedom. And now the blessing of coming into the community of Islam. And the great responsibility of establishing your Islamic life. But it requires that you share responsibility, that you share decision making, that you leave not your properties and your investments to one man, but seek out honorable, decent, loyal, trustworthy people, form boards, form committees, hold each other responsible, protect your invested interests. In concluding these talks, I want to quickly go over to you the wonderful events in these past 10 years. When I became your leader, that was a wonderful event. How come that was a wonderful event? You may not can see it right now, but if you think about it, especially you learned men and women, if you think about it seriously, you will agree with me. that nothing has happened more significant in the life of black people on this continent than my coming into leadership after Elijah Muhammad. Yes. It ain't nothing you can see right away, but take it with you, take it home with you. That was a wonderful event. The son of a man they called a black supremacist. The son trained by the father to really obey his false god, who was taught from infancy to pray to a man by the name of Farad, and had no other knowledge except that, so he prayed to a man called Farad and thought he was the Lord of the worlds. Not only me, but all my brothers and sisters thought the same, especially the young ones who hadn't experienced anything else, who believed that the white man was inherently wicked, that he was the real devil. And was recruited in the FOI to be a soldier for God, carrying the message until God come with the material hardware to remove the white man from the face of the earth. Yes, that's what I was taught, that's what I was told, that's what I was given, that's what I believed, until my mind began to grow out of it to look for better understanding. The son of a man that the public press said was the counterpart or the other side of the KKK. Huh? But the son of Elijah didn't choose to follow the way of Elijah. He chose to follow the way of Muhammad of the Quran. And then came into the leadership and kept the following after making such drastic turn from what the whole temple on the so-called Nation of Islam had accepted. We didn't have any battles. A lot of the church people, they can't meet over small issues without fighting, dissolving their government bodies, forming new government bodies. But we remained, we kept the same people and the same, even the same staff. I kept the same staff, Elijah Muhammad's staff, his national secretary. Well, I guess there has to be one among in every situation. But I kept him too for a long while. I'm talking about Farrakhan. For a long while, he didn't go nowhere. He was right here with us too. You would have thought that the following would have gone down to nothing, but it didn't. The people who supported the Honorable Elijah Muhammad the most became my most loyal, most dependable supporters. They believed that the white man was the devil, grafted devil. They believed that the man Farad was God in the flesh, born of a father, came here to save the black man. They believed that. They believed it so much they would give their paycheck just to promote that. And they were poor people. Now that particular audience, that particular congregation, accepted me while I turned the whole thing around. Changed the whole order. I say that was a wonderful achievement. Wonderful achievement. It wasn't possible because of me, because of my doings. It was possible because of God's doing. The determination in you for religious freedom. You didn't want to go back to the church. And you weren't no atheist. You came to the arm of Elijah Muhammad because you were God-fearing. So you didn't want to go back. You wanted to go forward. And because God made an opportunity in me for you to go forward and yet still be Muslim, you had no alternative but to say, I'm staying with the Son.
That's right. That's right.
Huh? Wonderful, wonderful achievement. Wonderful achievement. God made it possible, but we all share. That stayed with it, we all have a share in it. Wonderful achievement. God even brought some of the forces of the jinns to help that situation. And you remember me saying to you almost 10 years ago, saying Solomon had jinns supporting him in his army. That's what Allah says in the Quran. Yes, some of the jinns. They're gone now, but they were helping me when they were here. I don't want to call them by name, but there were some big jinns among us. And not only that, some jinns in the government quarters, some jinns in the private sector, outside of the community. They looked at it and said, hey, this looks good. If I can secretly give some support to this, if I can use my influences, my means, or my instruments to aid it in some way, I'm willing to do it. They lent their support. We appreciate whatever anybody did to help make possible what occurred. But God was the master planner. Couldn't have been done without him. In fact, it was his plan. Yes. Now, dear beloved Muslims, we are here in the community of Al-Islam. We are with the Quran. We know the Quran is our authority. There's no authority above the Quran for Muslims. We know Muhammad is the one to demonstrate that authority to us, how we live that in our lives and in the life of the society, in our relationship with each other and with non-Muslims. We know that. For Prophet Muhammad, he said, I leave you with two authorities. And for as long as you hold to them and don't deviate, you will not go astray. And he named them. He said they are the Quran and my own demonstration of how that book is to be lived, called his Sunnah. Praise be to Allah. We have that. But if we don't study the Quran, if we don't read it and become familiar with it, if we don't study the life of Prophet Muhammad and become familiar with the events in his life, with his personality, with his principles, his spirit, his temperament, his wisdom, if we don't get acquainted with that, somebody can come behind me and take you into something that will be as foreign to this as the old was. And you will still be calling yourselves Muslims because you don't know what it is in its true content. Don't waste your time, you youngsters, you teenagers, you young students, you bright-minded youngsters. Don't waste your time following these stupid people who bribe you to recruit you into their slave-making thing and promise you nothing but animal pleasures. Don't be fooled by them. Look at what has happened. Go talk to the wise if your mind ain't strong enough. Go talk to the wise in religion. Talk to the wise in science and ask them what they think about the history of this community and the transition brought on by my leadership with the help of God. Ask them what they think about Imam Muhammad, his personality and what he's doing. Ask them what they think about it. So you will get another point of view from people who have credits and not be recruited in by these Uncle Toms, these slaves of the establishment. And when you are convinced by your own intelligence that what Imam Mahdi Muhammad represents is the best opportunity for us, is the more dignified thing to support, then lay to it. Put your brain to it. Put your heart in it and put your brain to it and spend your energies advancing the life content of the Muslim as it is in the Quran, as it is in the Sunnah, and as I have tried to represent it. That's the need. Because I'm not going to live, I'm going to die. And maybe sooner than you think. Yes, who knows? And what will happen with you all still looking for a Jesus to take all of your responsibilities upon his shoulder? God never intended no such. That's a message for the people they want to exploit. They want to take out of the race. Religious freedom is what you still should be seeking. You're Muslims, but the message of freedom is subtle, but it's stronger in this religion than it is in any other religion. But when we pray, we can't even leave it to the imam to pray for us. We have to know our own prayers. We have to know how to do it by ourselves. We have to keep the sunnah of the Prophet. After the imam has prayed, you have to be able to stand by yourself and pray. So what is the real meaning of the Prophet's sunnah? True democracy. True democracy, where the individual is capable of leadership for himself. That's the real message of his sunnah. That the individual must share in the responsibility for carrying the burden of society. He must be able to carry out the functions alone, the knowledge for how to live and carry the burden or the weight of government and society must not be on one man's shoulder, but on the shoulder of all of them. And if they understand the sign of Christ, that is a sign. Yes. For they say Jesus is the one promised in Ezekiel, no, not Ezekiel, one of those books in the Bible, I can't recall it right now. Says, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. Wonderful counselor, etc., etc. But did Jesus say he was a symbol of one man? No. He said, I in the Father, and you in me. And you in me. Meaning that I have my strength in obedience to God, following his guidance, and you have yours in my a symbol, my sign. I'm a sign of a collective government, a government of many in one body, under God. In the church, they use the expression, they call it the body of Christ, huh? And they refer to the members of the church. Don't you know every church is a government? A lot of preachers don't know it, but this land and this law allows religion to have its own independent government. And they are supposed to be the members in that government, and it is supposed to be shouldered by all the members in that body, and Christ is a sign of that body as he's a sign of many mysteries. Now what I'm saying to you, that Christ is only symbolism. Muhammad is the real thing. He's not a myth, he's not a symbol, he's not a sign, he's a flesh and blood man that lived, and historians have written about him that were not Muslims. So wake up and see the great opportunity before you to come into the great life of Al-Islam, become an established community and an established people with guidance to guide your feet, to guide your destiny, to bring you into abundance of life and prosperity, if you will only wake up and be true to this calling. Yes. Wake up before it's too late. In my conclusion today, this is the last time you'll look upon me as your leader. I'm not the leader for anybody. I don't accept to be your leader. I'm Imam Waithuddin Muhammad. I will be the Imam wherever I reside. I don't accept responsibility for you, your investments, your places, your decisions. You better carry it yourself. I don't intend to ever meet with the Imams as their advisor. You have to advise yourself. Take the Quran, take the life of Muhammad, make your decisions. Do not use me as your excuse anymore. I'm not available. And if you would follow my advice, you would put down the term American Muslim Mission. You would put it down. You would never pick up any term that lop you all together in one community. You will be members of a Muslim community that is international. You will have masjids and imams. You will have AMCOP, collective buying. You will have political awareness committees. You will have businesses, private businesses, private concerns. You will bring nothing under centralized thing anymore. You will be called by masjid names. You'll be free to walk into any masjid and be recognized as a Muslim, just like Muslims are in the international Muslim world. You will hold your imam accountable. You will encourage your imam to form good relations with other imams. Not just black ones, but white ones, red ones, they're all color. When you meet together, you won't meet together under some corporate name, but you will meet together imams on equal standing. You will form your council upon your own decision, upon your own will, not pressured to do it. You will limit the power of your council to nothing but representing the interests, the aspirations, the concerns of your masjid. Find opportunity to work together when it's necessary. You will not require any such counsel for any unnecessary purpose at all. In other words, you will work for a minimum of control over your body because God wants you to show the responsibility yourself. I've always had a problem in my soul accepting that religion be organized or institutionalized to the extent that it becomes a cooperation, a corporate entity, a good situation to be exploited by the powerful. Yes. But if you follow the guidance of God, if you have the free, open Islamic society that God intends for you, then you are not an enticement, a temptation, an invitation to the exploiters from the powerful, from the rich. But if they see you have a tight-knit, well-organized, strongly organized thing wherein there's an individual or a group of individuals dictating to many, that's a good situation for them. It's ideally structured and tailored for their exploits. But if you get rid of that and have an open, free Islamic society, and you come together as imams, not belonging to American Muslim Mission, that was a step from another thing that even was more institutionalized. The old temple of Nation of Islam. So I brought you a step away from that. Now I'm not telling you to drop that, but I'm advising you that if you want to really be Islamic community, you should drop these names that separate you and set you apart from other Islamic populations. And you should work as one Muslim. Muslim is one all over the earth. You should work as one Muslim with one Muslim identity, following the same Quran, following the same human model. Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. That's the way you should go. Don't you know you can achieve the things you want to achieve better if you do it without this situation for enemy sabotage? Yes, you can do it much better. Private enterprise. Private enterprise. Form together in groups as you have been doing. Don't you think that's progress? I do. I don't control the businesses in the Muslim community. I have nothing at all to do with them. The businesses are under private business people. And as a result, we have better business and more progress for business in the Muslim community than we ever had. When you look at this brochure that is coming out now, the 10th anniversary brochure, you will see more businesses represented in that magazine, and I believe that it doesn't carry not even 100th of the businesses that are in this community. And to make that brochure that the Temple of Islam or the Nation of Islam made some years ago, they went and searched carefully, not only for Nation of Islam businesses, but for those who had, against the spirit of the Nation of Islam, defied the policy of the Nation of Islam and set up businesses on their own. They went and got those businesses too and pulled other people's business in to show what the nation was doing. And not only that, they also, yes, thank you very much. They also went and took pictures of private dwellings, homes that belonged to private individuals. How I know? Because they took the picture of my brother's home, and he bought his own home. It was not the Nation of Islam home, it was his own home. And there were other homes too in this picture magazine that showed the progress of the then Temple or Nation of Islam. So they went and got all these properties to make a big impressive picture presentation of what the Muslims had accomplished. It was not a truthful presentation. But if you look at what's in here, it's truthful. Because I don't have any promotion, psychology, or program to take properties and put them in a magazine to impress non-Muslims that we are a rich empire. I don't have such policy or philosophy. Now, the businesses in Atlanta alone are very impressive. And we have them in the South, we have them in the Midwest, we have them all over. But there's no loud noise being made about it. It's a natural development. A natural development. Not nothing exaggerated. It's happening in a very natural way. It's going to grow bigger and bigger. It's going to grow bigger and bigger. Do you know most of the members in our community, by the standards of this society, still represent the poorest materially and the most unlearned academically? Although we have members in our community now, many that we didn't have, who have graduated from high school and now an impressive number from colleges. We have more doctors in our community than we ever had before. But even with that growth or change in the education level or the academic level of the membership, we still represent the poorest of the African American people and also the least educated of the African American people. Our membership, that is. But our membership as a body identifiable in the low level, the poor level, the low stratum of people in the African American race, that particular group we call the members under this particular voice, if they would be studied, they would be found to be more progressive than any other similar group in these United States. We represent progress, real progress. In fact, we represent so much progress until I'm always hearing from non-Muslims this: we are depending on you all. We are depending on you all. We have this, we have that, but you all have something that we don't have. That's what I'm hearing from them. My father had no education, no more education than 3 years elementary school in the South, where schools were inferior at that time and may be in this time. Many of the schools are still rated inferior to northern schools. Is that not right? My father had only 3 years education. My mother went to the 8th grade but did not graduate from elementary school. My mother. My youngest brother has his doctorate degree. I am a man that's highly respected for wisdom and insight. Yes. And we come from Mama and Dad, Elijah Muhammad and Clara Muhammad, who was before they became Muslim, or took on those names, Elijah Poole and Clara Evans. And our children are performing on a very high level. Yes. Daughter, a student of IT, Illinois Tech. I got a son, he looks very bright. In fact, his teacher who's with him now says that he is performing on the level of 12th graders. 12th graders. And he is not yet graduated from high school. He will graduate in June, inshallah. Yes, this is what I'm told. And I believe it because I know him too. I have experiences with him too, I know. I believe that he actually, if he had the help, encouragement and the help and the circumstances, he could go straight out of elementary school into college. He wouldn't even have to go into high school. I know that myself. He's better now than a lot of freshmen in high school. His ability is better. He's here, I don't like to say it in front of him, he's there. He's wondering, say, what you talking about, Dad? That's Sadruddin. Yes. But not just my family. There are many other Muslims. Brother Hazem Ali, he has a child too in IIT. Another brother, another sister, they have a daughter in IIT. In fact, there's about 4 or 5 children from the Muslim community here in Chicago in IIT. IIT is one of the hardest schools to get into in Chicago or in Illinois. See, we used to give credit to the old Temple of Islam. See, yeah, that's because the Temple of Islam. Well, what about Layla and Saudi and Ingina? They ain't the product of the Temple of Islam. They've been under my tutelage more than they've been under anybody else's. That's right. It's because of the broad concepts, the broadness of the mind and concepts, that our children are courageous enough to take on responsibility, tackle these subjects, not be afraid or intimidated. Most of us have inherited fear, shame, low self-esteem, or either artificial ego. And we go to these institutions of the white man and we can't make it, either because we are not in tune with reality and have an ego that's too big and artificial, or because that we have been shortchanged because of the environment and the environmental circumstances for ourselves. This religion has brought us to see the needs, to create the right environment, to work on improving the environment, to bring concepts that are natural and broad to the minds of our children. And because of that, our children are excelling. Our school is going to be the best.
Right.
Yes, the Clara Muhammad Private School here in this Chicago. It's going to be the best. How do I know? Because I know we got the best. We got the best vision. We got the best plan for the school. Our school is going to be the best. We're going to put out the best mind, the best products. If you all would join me, in a little while, you'll be dominant in this city. You would. The power would come to you. You would. The power would come to you. Why? Because they are wasted out there. This is not me talking. This is what their own examination, evaluation has concluded, that the public school system is a waste. The white man, he has taken the best out of the public school. He's dealing with it privately with his own money. Huh? And he leaves his poor whites and you poor folks to have the shambles that are left. The quality of the teachers is nothing. The spirit and drive in them has gone. All they're looking for is animal pleasures, animal rewards, money and Saturday night kicks. Am I telling the truth or not? Okay, so you see, this is a fortunate situation for you. Come and support me. Join my leadership. Support me. Say, oh, but I heard you just retired from leadership. Certainly. You dumbbell, you. I didn't say I'm going to stop talking. I said I'm going to stop doing your work. So accept the direction. Come into Islam. Accept the direction that we offer. Learn what we are doing here in Chicago. If you have a situation to reproduce it or to do better, do it where you are. And encourage your people to come into this religion. This is the religion. This is the place of religious freedom for the African American person. So tomorrow, inshallah, we will continue this subject, and we want to alert you to the evils, the danger for the dangerous possibilities for a community that is not alert and educated and informed. How it can easily be taken over by people who don't have your interests at heart. And because you don't know what you represent or what you should be, they can lead you in the name of your religion to a foreign course and a contrary end. We don't want that. We're going to work to fight it. We're going to work to stop it. We hope tomorrow to show you and to get you to see and agree with your own mind upon your own decision that the solution we have here in America to bring African American man up and African American families up and African American community up is the same that's needed in Africa and everywhere else that black people are existing today. The same is needed. They have the same problems in their spirit, same problem in their souls that we have over here. In fact, in many places they have a worse problem, a worse situation than we have. You're not going to come out of it by trying to follow your own whims, your own opinions, whimsical opinions that you dream up. I thank God for saving us from dependency on dream thinking. You can follow a logic, tried and proven logic for establishing individuals and societies. The Quranic road, the Islamic guidelines. That's the answer, and we've gone into the night. We have to make Maghrib prayer. We don't have the situation here for it. And that's another thing. We should never have programs that does not provide also accommodation for our religious obligations, and prayer is a very sincere, very important one. It's one of the 5 essential pillars of this religion. We should never have a program and agenda that omit, disregard our obligation to pray our 5 daily prayers. So I conclude this talk, and I hope that you have seen in it progress. Progress. I don't make a decision in the interest of myself. I make a decision in the interest of pleasing God, number one, and that means progress. My vision is for progress. And I know that the best way to progress in this country is to have a situation that enables individuals to carry the greatest amount of responsibility for their own circumstances, for their own lives. Don't be afraid to invest. Invest. Invest your time, invest your knowledge, invest your energies, invest your money. But do it with a sober mind. Do it in a practical way. Be practical in your thinking. Follow the best advice. Be a Muslim. That is, be obedient to the Quran and to the Sunnah of the Prophet. Be very serious. Don't take unnecessary risk, but don't be too distrustful. Don't be afraid to trust each other. You find people that share your same aspirations and you're struggling, you don't have much to work with. Join those people who share your same aspirations. Don't be afraid to trust each other. And work hard together to improve the situation in your life. Compete with the rich. Compete with the powerful. This is what Allah wants for us. Don't you know some of the powerful rich people today were poor just 5 years ago? Yes. Some of the most powerful and richest people today, right now, on this calendar date, were 5 years ago poor. But they had the vision and the courage to find the resources and invest that time and their energies and to trust each other and build a great thing. That's all you need. You don't have to be poor. You're poor and weak because you don't have courage. You don't even have the courage to trust another good person. Reading the Quran and following its direction and learning more about how that is to be lived by studying the life of Muhammad will bring you out of that situation, and you will become a progressive, productive people. We are realizing some progress, but not near enough. I hear they're coming out with another issue of the journal, which would be another special issue, and it's quite needed, because they were recalling the achievements of the community. And the first achievement, quite naturally, was achievement for bringing this religious community to be true to its name, to be true Muslims, to have the true content. But another great achievement was to remove the structures of slavery, decentralize the interests of the community, the business interests of the community, bring it into private hands, remove the unit called FOI and MGT, and bring a situation where every imam have dignity, every congregation has dignity, all of them on an equal footing, free as they should be to invest in their own immediate region and build their community locally without having so much demanded of them from a central office. Freedom, Islamic freedom, is another great achievement that you have realized since I became your leader. So another paper is coming out, and I hope they won't forget these things. Also, in my travel abroad, this particular house we're in right now was under heavy liability. We had to pay about $240,000 periodically to Libya on loan. It was killing us, strangling us to death. My policy was different, so we had different policies. We weren't forcing people to come up with donations and quotas of donations. So the money just wasn't here. So how are we going to pay all these big debts? How are we going to answer all these big demands on us, financial demands on us? I went to Libya in the name of Allah, and I asked the Libyan government to excuse us from that obligation. No quicker than I asked, they granted it. I came back home free from that responsibility. I think when a leader makes a visit to a country and saves a community, the obligation to pay $240,000 or more once or twice a year, I think when he achieves that, that is a victory for that community. And that's just one of many things that we have been able to achieve since I came into the leadership with your support. You say, well, what about the next 10 years, Brother Imam? The next 10 years are going to show up this past 10 years so much till it's going to be too small. The only part we should remember from we're going to say, hey, we came from the Temple of Islam on the Sunnah road of the Prophet. The rest of it won't be even worth remembering. The progress that will come in the next 10 years will overshadow what we've done in the past 10 years so much that we won't hardly be recalled. So yeah, we did have those small things back then. Trust my word. Trust my word. The only thing was missing in our life was freedom.
Yes, sir.
Now this religion has brought it to us. That's right. The ideologies, even the church ideology we had before, didn't permit us to be free. Now we are free indeed. Assalamu alaikum. Takbir! 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 Allahu Akbar. Allah.